After testing hundreds of products and configurations over the past year, I've created not one but two desk setups that have transformed my productivity and creative workflow in 2025. Dedicated spaces for filming and creating and some deep work. Today, I'll break down the essential desk accessories and tech that made the cut, from core components to thoughtful details that will enhance a daily workflow. Hi everyone, it's Simon, and yes, before you say it, I realise that two complete setups aren't feasible for most. I am a tech reviewer after all, but the principles and tech finds that I'm sharing today could improve any workspace, whether you have a multiple station setup or a corner desk in a cupboard like I started with. So consider this a customizable inspiration for creating your perfect desk setup. Now, everything is linked in the description, and while some items here were sent for review to me, I've kept only the things that I really like. Okay, let's start with the foundation of any good workspace, the desk and chair. These aren't just furniture, they are the infrastructure of your productivity. I'm using these, the Eames desk chairs from Son, across both of my setups. I love great furniture design, but I don't love selling a kidney to afford it. So these Charles and Ray Eames E45 replicas hit that perfect sweet spot between classic mid-century aesthetics and then some modern ergonomics. But after a year of daily use, they still look brand new. And yeah, there's a little bit of a squeak, but more importantly, my back is speaking to me again. But the real game changer for this filming desk setup has got to be this new E7 Plus standing desk sent over from FlexiSpot. Now this is the E7 Plus model, previously known as the E7Q Lite, and I got it in black legs and a white desktop at 160 centimeters by 80 wide, and it is the best stable, powerful and good looking adjustable desk that I found to date. So it's got a dual motor system that can support an incredible 200 kilogram load capacity, which means I can literally sit on it and it'll send me to the ceiling. You could put any combination of tech on this and it would take it. Genuinely, this is really useful for standing on to fix lights to my ceiling. Yes, I have done that. Now, this is apparently the most popular four-legged standing desk of 2025, but I think what makes it special is the fact that it just looks great from every angle. It's not a one-sided desk, so people often use these as meeting tables or even dining tables, which I think is a great flexible option if, say, you live in a small live-work apartment and you want a standing desk as your main table. Now, the memory presets let me switch between the perfect sitting and standing heights with one touch, and the E7 Plus works with desktops from 120 right up to 2 meters, and the frame raises between 66 centimeters and 131 centimeters in height. It basically is rock solid and has zero wobble at every configuration. So for a filming desk, I went for this 160 wide, perfect for those top-down shots. I can move it up and down to a top-mounted camera, and it just works really beautifully. So I've been alternating between sitting and standing on this a lot more now when I film, and it's so much better for energy levels. And when you're working, this really is a game changer. No more mid-afternoon slumps where you question your life choices. Now, I'm super impressed with this desk. I can't recommend it enough. So if you're interested, click the link in the description for the best deal that FlexiSpot can offer you on a fantastic desk. Before we dive into all the other tech details, I want to share something important. I own and test a lot of gear because, well, it's part of my job. But what truly makes a workspace both productive and pleasing isn't usually equipment. It's about creating an environment that not only reduces friction between you and your work, but also makes you want to spend time there. Because when you want to spend time somewhere, you will, and you'll then get more stuff done. Now, good design marries form and function. Every item has to have a purpose, whether it's making tasks easier or bringing some joy to your life. So get subscribed here if you haven't, because that's what this is about on this channel, helping you live your best life with good tools and tech. And make sure you let me know in the comments what item you've added to your workspace that's made the biggest difference. Okay, let's talk about computers, and that only means for me one thing: Mac. So let's talk about a laptop versus a desktop computer. I've taken a flexible approach to my computer and monitor setup. I wanted to work from a single dedicated laptop at both desks, and when I'm away from the studio as well. So I've kept it to my trusty M1 Max MacBook Pro. Now, while I absolutely loved the new M4 MacBook Pro and the new M4 Mac Mini that I tested this year, and by the way, that Mac Mini is an incredible deal at $599, I've decided to save a bit of money and maximize what I already have, maybe for one more generation. And you can watch my full review of those, link below if you want to. Now, on my productivity desk, I've fallen in love with the Apple Studio display. For deep work and design tasks, this combination is unbeatable. The 5K resolution delivers razor-sharp text, and the color accuracy is incredible for creative work. Now, yes, it is expensive, and yes, I'm yet to find a monitor to match its image quality or build quality, but BenQ is soon to be releasing a 5K version of my other monitor, so let's keep an eye on that. Now, I thought I should mention, if you do get a studio display, go for that adjustable stand or VESA mount option. Mine was sitting on a book, and to be honest, it's like putting Ferrari tyres on a skateboard. Lewis Hamilton would be upset, and the irony is not lost on me. But we can't really go any further without addressing what makes this filming desk setup so unusual. So before we dive into that productivity desk setup, let me show you the rest of the creative tech that makes up this creative desk setup. It's not really a desk setup. It's a flexible space with a rig next to it. Now, the real magic of it is how I've mounted most things, including my beloved 4K PD2725U BenQ monitor, onto this. Instead of taking up valuable desk space, everything is attached to a Manfrotto auto pole. You can use them to clamp to the roof and the floor using pressure, or even across between your walls, and then mount things with super clamps, or I've used a VESA mount to attach whatever you want onto them. Now, this keeps the monitor and computer separate from the desk with two huge advantages. I have more usable space on the desk, and I can film like this without anything getting in the way. On the auto pole, I've also mounted an Amaran 200XS and a newer overhead camera mount so I can get some great top-down shots for filming. The adjustability of the desk height also means that I can demonstrate products and things without obstruction and go up and down towards the camera. Now, I've used this CalDigit 4K dock for years. It means everything connects with a single cable, and when I'm ready to film, I just plug in my MacBook and all the peripherals are instantly connected: camera, microphone, external drives, the whole shebang. Now, this Elgato Stream Deck is an absolute essential for my workflow here. Having my most used functions one button away has sped up my filming considerably, particularly because I can trigger scene changes and looks in OBS if I'm doing, say, a Notion tutorial, and I can move it to the other desk setup and use it for editing shortcuts on Final Cut Pro. For audio and video on this setup, it's all guns blazing. So for serious audio, I'm using the Rodecaster Duo, which has been fantastic paired with my Sennheiser NKH50. The sound quality is studio level, and the touch controls make me feel like I'm piloting a spaceship. I also built out one of these, an all-in-one YouTuber rig for my Fuji X-H2S. I've got a desk view teleprompter, I'm using the Prompt Smart Pro app, and then I'm actually using the Orion app on the iPad to give myself a monitor on a VESA mount attachment. And if you want to, check out my recent iPad videos for more on all of these iPad related elements, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a full tour of that filming rig setup, because, well, this is pretty specific for creating, right? So I'd like to take the time now to look at that productivity desk setup where the real work happens. I returned to Bololo's Cockpit desk shelf system this year. It's ultimately been a brilliant system, and I keep coming back to it, especially with the integrated floating docks and other elements that you can put into it. But I love the MacBook holder that I can attach, which holds it in clamshell mode at the perfect height. You can reconfigure it to your needs as you want. I store my editing and archive drives here too. The SanDisk Extreme Pro SSDs have been what I've used for years. They're rugged, tiny, and lightning fast. You can edit directly off them. And for archive video materials, I rely on a more affordable and slightly more slow WD Passport Ultra. You can find 5 terabyte models for as little as $120 on sale Now, underneath everything sits my desk mat Slim. I've got another one right here, and this is from Orbit Key, and I absolutely love this kind of leathery finish. There's a secret document pouch where you can hide important documents. I'm also a big fan of these little magnetic cable holders that come with it. Now, for typing, I'm still a Keychron fan, and mainly because Mode keyboards are way too far out of my budget. Now, while my Q1 Max remains my daily driver, I've added this thing, the K2HE 75% for my filming setup, and though it's designed for gaming with ultra low latency on the keys, I absolutely love it for the clean looks and a very satisfying ASMR sound. It just sounds fantastic. The build quality and the price point are incredible. Now, my wrists have been thanking me daily since I switched to the Logitech Lift mouse a few years ago. And yes, the vertical design does take a little bit of adjusting to, but after that, it really is just like a regular mouse, and I'm a massive fan, so I can't recommend that enough. I've had this thing for years as well, which is a little kind of fold down Arc 2 mouse from Microsoft. But hang on. Don't forget that a good desk setup is nothing if your digital workspace isn't equally powerful, well organized and beautiful. And for that, it's all about my Notion Life OS setup and a bit of customizing of my Mac with some custom icons to match. So if you want to try either of those out, you can find out more about how I can help you with all of it at bettercreating.com. Now, for sound and video, it's all about ease and a small footprint for jumping onto online meetings quickly. And I'm super happy with the simplicity and quality of these next few items. I upgraded my mic to, well, the Hollyland Lark M2S wireless mics. They came out earlier this year and they are super tiny, the charging case lasts forever, and they make me sound like a professional recording booth. Now, the Insta360 Link 2 has replaced my previous webcam for meetings. The auto tracking feature follows me around the room if I want it to. It's perfect for presentations then if you're like a webinar person. But the great thing about that is the quality of the image and the ease of use. And I really like that it also has this rather good bokeh setting to some really realistic blurry backgrounds. Headphones? Well, that's easy these days. It's got to be the AirPod Pro 2s, just because they're the go-to choice for cross-device headphones. I don't now have to switch my headphones when I go between iPad, iPhone, and Mac. They're probably my favorite Apple product of the lot, other than the fact that they are sealed, so if you break them, they can't be fixed. The little touches matter just as much as the big tech, and in fact, not all tech needs to be digital. My secret productivity weapon is analog and Analog Weekly from Ugmonk. They just released metal versions that are much more affordable than the originals, although yes, they are still premium. But honestly, I love combining this now with my Notion Life OS template, and it's together 10x'd what I get done in a week with a bit less stress. Life-changing. And they really have, therefore, more than paid for themselves. Yep, I know, you could just use a scrap of paper, but these beautiful objects actually make me want to plan my day, and I love that Ugmonk have also recently released for their analog system an archive, which is to organise all the progress that you've recorded. You could do it month by month if you wanted. Is it worth it? Not for everyone, but I love it. And you can check the link out below. Now, this Asami porcelain mug isn't just beautiful, but its wide base means that I'm less likely to spill my coffee on my keyboard. Also, it just feels great, and I love a good coffee. You should check out my recent video on the X Bloom if you're interested. And when I do get a bit messy, this compressed air capsule tool from Hotto Tools was a surprising review unit that I found I've used way more than expected. It keeps everything dust-free or vacuumed without any drama. And to the left is the Gather Organizer, also from Ugmonk. The minimal aesthetic hides just how functional this thing is. Everything has its place, which means I spend zero time hunting for my pens and SD cards. And how about these? I've been starting to mess with 3D printing recently, and I absolutely love these 3D printed AirPod Pro 2 cases. And how about this, the standby dock I printed for my iPhone by the excellent Scott Yu Jan. Very nice. Check out my video on trying 3D printing after this, because it's been surprisingly popular. So that leaves us with this. Where should you start building your perfect workspace? Well, having two dedicated spaces lets me separate creation from production, one for filming and one for daily work. But this setup didn't evolve overnight. It just starts with the essentials. A quality chair and desk will boost your productivity more than fancy accessories, and you can gently add stuff that makes you happy as you go. Now, if you're working with a limited space, that's all good. Create dedicated zones on a single desk by organizing your tools by purpose and establishing clear mental boundaries between your tasks. So if this tour inspired you, hit the like button. For more workspace and productivity tip gems though, check out one of these videos next where I can help you achieve more with less effort. Click my face to get subscribed if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.